It is crazy to me how people, specifically on the right, are still talking about President Biden's age, his fitness, his ability to serve as president. It's all that Trump supporters and Donald Trump himself talk about. It's the only argument they have against Joe Biden, and it's not even a good argument because Donald Trump is 3 years younger than Joe Biden. And it's just incredibly frustrating for me. I know it's frustrating for you, and it's certainly frustrating for folks like California Governor Gavin Newsom. And he took this frustration into an interview that's going to be released in its entirety this weekend on MSNBC with Jen Psaki. But in some preview clips that we have, Psaki asked Gavin Newsom, the typical, are you running for president? What do you think about Joe Biden's age? And she wasn't framing this question in a bad way. She actually did it very well, which you'll see in a second. And Gavin Newsom just responded in such a great way. And I think this is the new thing that Democrats should be running with, the way that he answered this question. So I'm really excited to show you it. And then we're going to talk later in this video about how, Donald Trump is actually the guy whose age we should be concerned about, and also what Joe Biden is doing right now and his schedule and how it compares to Trump. So I'm really excited for all of this. But here's that clip of California Governor Gavin Newsom.
I do have to ask you, I know it drives you crazy that people still speculate that you're waiting in the wings to run for president. I know it's not going to happen. You know it's not going to happen. But what do you think is fueling that speculation?
I don't know. I don't think much anymore. And I'm so proud of the president and the incredible job he did. Didn't surprise me at all. And I know it didn't surprise you. I really believe that. And that's what he did at the State of the State. I think it calmed everybody's nerves. And, I said to my friend the other day, I said, on this age, we can get into debates around fitness. Look, I'd rather have 80 years behind me than those 88 federal criminal counts in front of me. And so I feel very good about Joe Biden's prospects.
Yeah, that was so good. And it's just a snippet. We're going to be getting the longer answer later this weekend. But what a great response to the question. I love how he said, I'd rather have 80 years behind me than 88 felony charges in front of me that I am yet to face. And that's the contrast between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's like, look, Joe Biden is old, but he invests in infrastructure. He fights climate change. He lowers healthcare costs. And then the other guy, Donald Trump, is old, but he's facing 88 felony charges and could be a convicted felon in 2 months. When you weigh it like that, the choice is pretty clear to me. This is why it's incredibly frustrating, that after all of these things that Joe Biden has been able to accomplish as president, the largest investment in infrastructure since Eisenhower's highway system, the largest investment in fighting climate change in not only American history, but world history, restarting the cancer moonshot program, expanding healthcare for veterans, capping insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. I mean, I could go down the list all day, 24 hours. The list is incredibly long of what Biden's been able to accomplish. It's so frustrating how he's been able to do all of that, and Republicans are still like, well, I don't know if he's fit to serve. It's like, what are you talking about? He's doing the job of president, right? Like, he is getting policy passed. He is leading us on the world stage in such a experienced way. And that's another thing that Joe Biden brings to the table, the experience. He's been in politics for decades now. He served specifically in foreign policy roles in the Senate when he was spending his time there. That is someone I want in the Oval Office, someone who knows how to do the job. 8 years as vice president as well, now 4 years as president. He knows politics. He knows how to get stuff done. That's what I want. And it's shown in his presidency that he knows how to do this stuff. Whereas with Trump, right, we know that Joe Biden's done all this stuff. He's incredibly experienced. Trump didn't get anything done. He didn't do anything. He just incited an insurrection and lied about our election and then mishandled the pandemic. All of that is what Trump's legacy is. So if you're looking at the two presidencies, give me Joe Biden every single day of the week. And the fact that you can look at this incredibly accomplished man and think that, and as the Republicans do, and think that he is unfit to serve, but this guy who sounds like your crazy uncle at Thanksgiving, Donald Trump, they think he's fit to serve, mind-blowing. They do mental gymnastics to try to justify this view. Whereas, as I frequently say in these videos, all of the logical people are out there like, what are you talking about? What on earth are you saying here? I mean, look, I'm 21 years old, right? Biden is 60 years my senior. But I have never, not once in my life, been concerned about President Biden's ability to serve our country and do the job effectively. But I am concerned about Donald Trump's ability to do that. Why? Well, let's just look at what the two men are doing right now. So Joe Biden has been traveling around the country. He was just giving a speech in Philly the other day, talking about very complex, nuanced issues. He's been around the country. He's going to be giving a speech in Florida next week on reproductive rights, on their 6-week abortion ban. Traveling around the country. He's been to every single swing state multiple times since Super Tuesday, right? Whereas Donald Trump, on the other hand, well, he's been sitting in criminal court. He hasn't been having rallies. He's been sitting at Mar-a-Lago, and in criminal court, he's been falling asleep. He's been falling asleep. Take a look at this report from the New York Times of day one. I'm sure you've seen this story already, but day one of his criminal trial. A weary Trump appears to doze off in courtroom ahead of criminal trial. The former president flashed signs of irritation at times, but seemed to fall asleep before jolting back awake, is the writing below the headline. And then the actual contents of the article go on to talk about this. And this was just reporting from day one of the trial. Even as a judge was hearing arguments on last-minute issues in a criminal case that centers on salacious allegations and threatens to upend his bid for the presidency, Mr. Trump appeared to nod off a few times, his mouth going slack and his head drooping onto his chest. The former president's lead lawyer, Todd Blanche, passed him notes for several minutes before Mr. Trump appeared to jolt awake and notice them. Donald Trump is falling asleep in court. Joe Biden is not doing that. First of all, Joe Biden has never been in a criminal court, never been indicted. And that's a big plus for the Biden campaign. It's crazy we even have to think about this in a presidential election. But Biden has never fallen asleep. Trump is falling asleep in court. And the reason I said that this was just a report from Monday is because it happened multiple times. Take a look at this report from Forbes. Trump reportedly dozes again at hush money trial. Former President Donald Trump appeared to fall asleep during his criminal trial in New York on Friday, according to one reporter in the courtroom, just days after the former president appeared to doze off during jury selection. So he's fallen asleep multiple times in court. Meanwhile, President Biden is traveling around the country, giving speeches, working on policy, talking to individual voters, doing all of these things. And the Republicans have the nerve to try to tell us that Joe Biden is not fit to serve. How about we start thinking about Donald Trump's ability to serve? How about, Sleepy Donald is what's been trending on social media in recent days with good reason, because he's the one falling asleep in court. So, it's just mind-blowing to me that we have these two comparisons where Joe Biden has accomplished so much. He's traveling around the country, all of this stuff, right? We talked about this, all of this stuff. And then their guy is falling asleep in court, and they have the nerve, the audacity to try to gaslight the American people into saying that this guy, Joe Biden, is sleepy, but Donald Trump is right there. And also I could go on about the examples of Donald Trump getting confused at his rallies, where he confused Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi 3 times. He said that we're going into World War II, which happened 80 years ago. He couldn't identify his own ex-wife in a photo, couldn't identify her. The list goes on with Donald Trump, but, we don't have enough time to go through everything right now. And last thing I want to bring up on this topic is, do you remember when Joe Biden was doing this international trip, specifically in Asia and around the Middle East earlier in his presidency around 2023? Yeah, he was, incredible jet lag, incredible long hours, and even Fox News acknowledged that President Biden pulled an all-nighter. He'd been working all night in terms of being on U.S. time, Eastern Standard Time, right? Take a look at that clip of Peter Doocy, Fox News reporter, confirming this for all of us.
He has been basically working all through the night, the equivalent of an all-nighter Eastern time. So he's probably pretty tired, pretty jet-lagged, but...
Yeah, I love that clip for a number of reasons. Number one, he's confirming that Joe Biden was working all throughout the night, on Eastern Standard Time, just pulled an all-nighter, working for the American people abroad, meeting with all of these leaders, going from meeting to meeting, country to country. Fantastic, incredible, impressive work. But also at the end there, he just kind of realized what he did. He's like, oh, God, I just, on Fox News, made the point that President Biden is fit to serve. I bet his life flashed before his eyes. He was like, oh, no, do I still have a job, right? Because Fox News doesn't allow commentary like that. So, we have Fox News confirming that Biden is in Asia, pulling all-nighters. We see all this policy that Biden has passed. We have Republicans calling him smart and a tough negotiator, and then Donald Trump is falling asleep. You know, the choice is just so clear. This entire talking point around Biden's age is over. It's fallen flat, and that's why it's crazy how people are still trying to push it. And look, last point I want to say on this, and circle back to what Governor Newsom said. I would rather take an 81-year-old Joe Biden, who's accomplished a lot, pulling all-nighters, and Republicans have called smart and a tough negotiator, than I would Donald Trump, who's falling asleep and facing 88 felony charges and many more court cases to come. That's the choice. It's the easiest choice that we as Americans will have to make ever. The election couldn't be more clear. So it's simple. It's 2 + 2 = 4, right? Easy. So anyway, that clip was just fantastic from Gavin Newsom. I'm excited to see the full interview. I'm sure we're going to talk about it more here once we get the entirety of it and all the good clips and whatnot. But that's going to wrap it up for the video for now. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. I greatly appreciate the support. Drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think. Share the video with anybody you think needs to see it. And as always, I greatly appreciate the support and have a great rest of your day.